All right, this lesson is on multiplying special cases of binomials. So if you haven't multiplied binomials before, I'll put a link up here to my previous lesson on multiplying binomials. So there are some special cases of binomials that you can multiply really easily if you know these rules. So the first two are if you have a binomial that is squared. So this is called the square of a binomial. And this works for either a plus b squared or a minus b squared. And what this is this would be a plus b times a plus b, or a minus b times a minus b. So it's saying multiply this binomial times itself. And so in my previous video, I showed 3 different methods for doing this, using the distributive property, using FOIL, or using a table. And those 3 methods will still work. But there's something special about these. That's why these are called special cases, is that these always, when you multiply them, the answers always come out in this form. And so if you know this, you can skip doing FOIL or distributive property or the table and just write down the answer. And so the answer is the form of whatever this first term is squared plus 2 times the first and second term plus the second term squared. And if it's a minus sign here, then the only difference is it's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And so I know me just saying this, it sounds really confusing. So let's look at some examples. All right, so in this first example, in terms of what's being shown here, this is your a and this is your b. Okay, so you have x plus 8 times x plus 8. So again, I could do FOIL, I could use distributive property, I could use a table. All those things still work. But this is just a shortcut if you know this trick for this special case. So this only works for a binomial that's being multiplied times itself. So if we take a squared, that would be x times x, so that's x squared, plus 2 times the a value, which is x, times the b value, which is 8. That's a parentheses. Plus the b value squared, so that's 8 times 8. Let me write it this way. All right, 8 squared. And so let me simplify this, and you get x squared plus 16x plus 64. So this is only really useful if you're going to memorize these. If you don't memorize these, then you're just going to have to rely on using FOIL or one of the other methods. All right? So let's do this again. So the format here, this one's minus, so it's going to be a squared minus 2 times a times b plus b squared. So we take a squared, so that's 2m squared. And I'm showing more work than I would do if I was doing this on my own. If I was doing this on my own, I would just write 4m squared here. 2m times 2m would be 4m squared. Minus 2 times the a value. Again, this is the a, this is the b. So 2 times 2m times negative 3. Sorry, that's not a negative 3. You just write 3 there because it took care of the minus sign right here. And then plus b squared, so that's just 3 squared. So I have a squared, 2m squared, minus, because this minus sign means I use a minus, 2 times the a term times the b term, plus the b term squared. So if I simplify this, I get 4m squared minus 2 times 2 times 3 is 12m plus 9. And that would be your answer. Okay, so let's look at a couple more examples here. So here's my a term, here's my b term. This time I'm going to show less work to show, if you're comfortable with this, how quick this can go. So I'm going to do a squared, so that's n squared, minus 2 times a times b, so that's 2 times n times 7. So that's 14n. And then plus 7 times 7 is 49. And that's your answer. Okay, so again, if you're comfortable with this and you're not showing as much work, then it goes a lot quicker. So this one's going to be a plus here. So a squared, so that's 4x squared, 2x times 2x. This time plus 2 times a times b, so 2 times 2x, that's 4x, times 9 is 36x. And then plus 9 times 9 is 81. All right. So what else do we have here? There's another shortcut that this applies when you have the sum and the difference. So if you have, so the a and the b are the same terms, but one of the binomials is plus and the other one's minus. So if you ever encounter this, again, keep in mind you can use FOIL, you can use the distributed property, you can use the table method, you can use any of those methods. But if you recognize this form, and again, if you were to memorize this, then you could use this shortcut, that the answer will always just be a squared minus b squared. So this is a, this is b. So if I take a squared minus b squared, that would just be x squared minus 4. And that's your answer. So again, a lot quicker than using FOIL or one of the other methods. Okay, so this one would be x squared minus 81. Again, FOIL method works, and maybe on this last one I'll show you that FOIL still works. This one, a squared, so x to the third times x to the third, that's x to the sixth, minus 8 times 8 is 64. All right, let me just show you real quick that this works. So let's do FOIL. So we do first, that's 8x cubed, outer, whoops, I messed up. Sorry, I did the outer first. So we do first, that's the f in FOIL, x cubed times x cubed, that's x to the sixth. Outer, that's minus 8x cubed. Inner, that's plus 8x cubed. And then last, that's minus 64. Negative 8x cubed plus 8x cubed are going to cancel each other out, and you're left with x to the 6 minus 64. So I just wanted to show you that it does work using FOIL or one of the other methods. All right, it's just if you memorize this trick, it's quicker. All right, so that's it. So feel free to leave me a comment. If this was helpful, give it a like and a subscribe. Until next time.